is the dog walk area. We have providing 5 spaces here for people who want to walk their dog. And this in here is where they walk their dog. So this is just 5 spaces out of the way.
That's not where everybody walks their dog. All right. I'm not going to move. And picnic would be 9. Where was 9? I'm sorry, Miss 9.
9 is
over there, behind the picnic. Okay.
Could you explain this yellow J?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
That's really not part of the parking review. That's something additional. It's not in this report, but something I want to talk about.
Okay.
And so here's 9, and we identified this roadway here as 10.
How many spaces do we have in the park today before we do anything?
About a dozen.
12.
A dozen?
No, we have way more than that.
Well, that's formal spaces.
He's talking about designated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, paved. Everything else is just on the grass or dirt. But you have paved areas for about a dozen cars.
Okay. But do we have how many
No, there's more than that.
de facto spaces do we have?
What's the informal, the ad hoc parking spaces?
No, we have way more than that.
It's virtually what we have here. It's just informal.
Okay, so informally,
Right.
the area that's larger than a roadway, around the pavilion. You usually fit around the pavilion, which is just to the right of 9. There you go. Cars park around that area there.
Right.
Even though it's not lined, it's common parking.
Yes, it is.
Along the roadway. So I guess what we're trying to get a better understanding is, right now, what are we parking there? What's the amount of vehicles that we're parking there now, informally?
Well, you're only parking from here to here. This is about 150 feet, I think. So you can get about 15 vehicles in here if they park at a 90-degree angle.
Okay, and then what about the rest of the road?
Well, that's all parallel parking in here. They park at an angle in here. It's somewhat, but it's erratic. In here, we're getting about 30 to 60 cars, depending on whether they're angle parking or parallel parking.
That's right here. Yeah, roadside parking.
If they're angle parking, it's about 60. If they're parallel parking, it's about 30.
All right, so we're just about, we're parking now 90 cars.
More or less, yes.
Yeah,
In a formal manner.
I'd say that's about right. Understand, there's a lot of illegal parking that goes on in the roadway leading up to the mansion, which has caused some concern on the part of the fire department and police department.
Right.
We're trying to combat that with some actions we've taken.
I saw that. Very nice.
Our absolute parking capacity there, without really going on the grass, but along the roadways and everything else, less than 100 cars.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so what is your recommendation?
Okay. All right. So now if you look at Table 3, we showed the 9 different areas in which we could make parking lots out of. And we show 3 different ways of making a parking lot. One of them is to pave it. One of them is to put a product down called Grass Pave 2. Now, what that is, it's sort of an orange crate type of plastic that you put onto the ground after you prepare the ground. You put in about 6 inches, depending on the soil condition, about 6 inches of gravel compacted. On top of that, you put in this crate material, which is about 1.5 inches high, and then in that you put sand. And then you top it with grass seed. So what happens is the grass will grow through the sand, through the compacted base material, and into the sub-base. And it stabilizes the soil and allows you to have a stable parking lot without paving it.
Okay.
So it would effectively be grass.
Right.
And advantage is that It filters pollutants out of the water. It allows the water to percolate through the soil. It allows you to keep the ambiance of the park, keeping as much grass as possible.
I know this is a long shot, but you didn't bring a photograph of that, or maybe even a little
Yes, I
sample?
did.
Oh, fabulous.
I have that. What is the difference between that and the grass protects?
Well, the other one is, this product is for soil that isn't as stable as it could be to support parking on its own.
Which one? The
The one I
grass
just
protect?
talked about.
Right,
That will allow you to assist the soil and support parking.
right.
The second one is basically the same kind of thing, but it allows you to put it down, if you have good soil conditions, to protect the grass. So it keeps the grass from getting compacted and dying.
Okay.
So it's cheaper. It's
So we'd have to have an area that wasn't a wet area.
No, you
yes,
could
it can't be wet. That's for sure.
the grass paved too, couldn't you help
No, the grass
stabilize?
paved too, you could have a wet area, but not the grass protect.
Well, you have to do some with water. You can't put
Right.
either one of these products.
Do you have a
So
specific
neither.
recommendation?
Well, hold on, I have a question though. Back to my original question, or one of my questions, is about the mix of use. And it seems what you've done here is you've identified the areas we could have potential parking, what that cost would be, but what I'm missing is, what's the ideal number of spaces we should have?
Okay, that's what I said I was going to get to.
Grass
Okay.
paved.
I'll answer now. These here only reflect the maximum number of spaces that we could possibly fit into each one of these individual fields. By all means, we don't have to do that. However, if you want one parking lot and you want to keep the rest of the park, or maybe two parking lots, and not do anything with the rest of the park, this gives you the number, how much it's going to cost you to do that. It means that people have to walk from here to here, or from there to there, which they don't want to do.
Well, they're going to have to do
But
it.
they may have to do it. They may have to do it. But you're getting into the area now which is beyond engineering. You're getting into the area of
Motion.
what you want to do. What do you want to do with this park? Personally, I like to keep a park a park. I like to put as much grass, leave as much grass as possible, minimize the number of parking lots, paved parking lots. That's why we have the other two options.
When you look at specific parking areas as outlined here, would the proposal be to have one entrance in, one entrance out?
Yes.
So in your study of our park and its use, what do you recommend as the best area for us to use as our parking area?
All right. I'll make a suggestion.
Okay. That's what.
We would recommend that you have areas adjacent to all of the fields that are in use. Put them in grass. And keep them as overflow lots so that when, for instance, this roadway here, what we would do is we would do this road. That's option 5. We would do that for sure. That's widening that road.
Oh, widening the road.
Right. Allowing parking, formalizing parking on either side, and have this as the main parking area for these